we're going to move on to the last topic, and that is our top 5 Sega Genesis games.
I've been forgetting these, and then you remind me of them. Awesome.
Forgetting what?
Don't look at my list.
Oh, he's got rainbow paper over here. Why do you have rainbow paper?
What do you mean rainbow paper?
Is it rainbow?
No, it's just, it's not straight white. Nikki said it did look pretty. I don't know. Maybe it is.
That's Roy G. Biv all over the place.
What color's the dress? I don't know, but.
All right, so anyway, top 5 Sega Genesis games. Now, I'm going to preface this with, I didn't play Sega Genesis as much. You obviously stated in the last episode, I think, that Sega Genesis was your thing. I did Super Nintendo. So the games that I picked for my list are either probably exclusives or I played them primarily. If it came out on both systems, I don't know, but I played them primarily on the Sega Genesis rather than Super Nintendo.
Gotcha.
Right? If a game came out on both and I played it more on the Super Nintendo, I didn't just add it on my top 5 on here because eventually I'll probably do a Super Nintendo one anyway. And so it might be on that top 5. And I don't want any crossovers.
I'll be in trouble on that one. But
whoops.
Yeah.
We set no rules on this.
Yeah, I will say too, on this list versus my last list, I just went strictly off memory. And I have since then thought of several games that probably would have been on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just 2 off the top of my head was Pirates and Nobunaga's Ambition.
Oh, Nobunaga's, yeah. Which is not pronounced Nobunga's. it is Nobunaga.
Yeah. So on this list, though, I actually pulled up a full game list. And scrolled through and was like, oh, yeah, because, I mean, it's hard to remember. I mean, that's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to remember exactly what you played a bunch, but.
I had slightly a hard time with remembering some of the stuff going on in these games, too.
I tried to research some of it. You know, I
watched a few videos of the games just to kind of
another thing, too, with the Nintendo list, and I think you talked about the same thing, was a lot of the games that I played on Nintendo were rented. So it wasn't like I had the game and I owned it and I played it all the time. So, so it was a lot of games that were being rented in and out of my house. So these were a little bit stronger like I had these. So
I think I actually still own 4 of the 5 of mine.
No, really?
And I own the 5th one in a incarnation on the PlayStation.
Sweet.
But, so, I'm going to let you start with your number 5.
My number 5, I actually got to flip my paper over to find it. It is...
Your rainbow paper.
Splatterhouse 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean...
TurboGrafx 16, is that what the original one came out on? Yeah.
And, originally, whenever I got the Genesis... I can't remember why I originally got it, but then I started finding out there was these gory games on it, like Mortal Kombat. And
because we were violent kids.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just cool to see blood splattering on the screen of the game because it was new. And I think most of the time when you get around a teenagerous age, that tends to fascinate boys for some reason. I guess the primal side of us starts coming out, and we just want to destroy and kill. But so I mean, Splatterhouse 3, you pretty much had a gory a horror double dragon. You just ran around kicking crazy monsters. Yeah, and trying to work your way through a house to fight a boss monster, and it had somewhat of a story to it, but it was mainly just hack and slash using punches and kicks.
I actually don't remember playing any of the Splatterhouses.
Okay.
But I know I played them.
Okay.
I just remember it kind of reminds me of Jason.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a big muscle guy with a hockey mask.
Right.
That's it. So
yeah. Most of the time he just punched people, right?
Yeah, punch and spin kick.
Yeah.
And it was just cool because it was different monsters and they bled. Honestly, the gameplay had not a lot of depth to it, but it was fun. It entertained me.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was, I'll never forget when me and my buddy Nick rented it and was playing it. We were just freaking out at all the blood, but... Anyways, number 5, Splatterhouse 3.
You guys were in the bedroom giggling.
Yeah, it was like, oh, my mom, don't come down here and see this.
Yeah, she comes in. Are y'all watching HBO?
Yeah, no, Mom.
Well, my number 5 is Altered Beast.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it was a launch title, if I remember.
I think so.
Or really close to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, first off, the biggest thing I remember about this game is that keyword big. Your guys were so large on the screen.
Yeah.
They were massive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after playing like Nintendo all that time and even like the launch Super Nintendo games and stuff, you played Alter Beast and your guy was like, seriously, I felt like they were like 12 inches tall on the screen.
Right.
But then I go back and play it and I'm like, wow, that's kind of normal now. But
Right.
back then you were so large. I mean, the mechanisms were cool that you turned into the different animals on the different stages and stuff. And,
Right.
you know, I always liked a good 2-player side-scrolling beat-em-up game.
Yeah. Honestly, that game I didn't play a whole lot on the Genesis, but man, skating parties, you get in that
the
line.
arcade?
Oh, the arcade version. Oh, you'd stand in a line of 10 people deep, man, waiting to get on one side so you could play it and just hope you did the best so you keep playing it. But yeah. Arcade, I played that a ton.
Oh yeah. The arcade of it was really cool. I mean, the arcade of a lot of these games, if they were on the arcade, was like, I probably played them just as much on the arcade as I did.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of you young kids listening, an arcade is where they used to have these big stand-up games that you'd go throw money in, and you got to play
get
them.
tickets out of it when you were done. Man, I really wish arcades would come back.
Oh, I know.
Oh, wow. But the problem is they bring out an arcade machine and it's like $1 to play.
Right.
And you're like, you got to be kidding me. When I played Gauntlet on the arcade, I mean, I would feed quarters into that thing.
And it saved your character.
And it saved your character. That was the coolest thing, is some of these games would actually save your progress, which one of them on my list actually will do that.
Okay, cool.
So what's your number 4?
My number 4, Haunting starring Poltergeist.
I have absolutely no clue what this game
Okay,
is.
check this game out. It was pretty obscure, but it was fun. You played a dead dude. He was kind of like punk rockish looking too. I'm pretty sure he had a mohawk or a big flat top or something. But it was pretty much your job. You didn't like these people that were moving into this house for, I can't remember the reason. So it was your job to scare them out. And you would jump into objects and make them animated. Sometimes you could do certain tricks like, I don't know. You would make a couch. The cushions would open up and blood would come flailing out of it.
I actually vaguely remember this game now.
Yeah, and there was one funny thing, like you did something with the toilet, and like this little monster pops up. He starts throwing poop at people, and so pretty much you're just trying to scare people from room to room. And as you scare them, it gives you more like ectoplasm, which built your meter up, which allowed you to do more scares. The only frustrating thing about it was sometimes they wouldn't necessarily go the way you wanted them to. There was a lot of like you'd scare them into a room, then you'd scare them back into the same room they just came from, and then they just go back into the other same room. It got a little frustrating in that, but I mean, there was hundreds of different things to do in each house, so it was usually pretty fresh on what you were doing and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was a good time. Haunting starring Poltergeist.
Haunting starring Poltergeist.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah.
Well, my number 4 is probably a lot of people are thinking that it might be on this list, is Golden Axe.
Oh yes.
Yes.
It made short list.
Specifically the first one. I played the second and third one, but I literally don't remember that much about them. The first one though, I remember a lot because they re-released it on the PlayStation Network for the PS3.
Gotcha.
And stuff later on, not too long ago, probably a couple of years ago. Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah.
Again, side-scrolling beat 'em up. You're gonna see some more of those. And at the time, side-scrolling beat 'em ups was my thing.
Right.
I mean, that and role-playing games were the 2 games that I was playing the most of.
Right.
And man, that game was. It was an awesome multiplayer experience.
Yes.
And it was hard.
Again, I played the arcade.
I probably played the
fed
arcade
so
just
many
as much.
quarters into that game. I don't think I ever played it on my Genesis. But I fed a ton of quarters into that game. So
Yeah, very, very fun game.
yeah.
And yeah, I had something, but I lost it. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is, let's flip this list over. Did you know Dungeons and Dragons had a game on Genesis?
I think I have it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which one is it?
Warriors of the Eternal Sun.
I can't read very small text that far away, but I'm pretty sure
It was the only one. I'm pretty sure. So if you've got a Dungeons and Dragons game for Genesis, it's probably this one.
I might have it.
Okay. So your castle's getting attacked by goblins, and something happens, and it sucks your castle away, and you land in this land. Oh, where are we? So you venture out, and you're finding there's troglodytes and other kind of crap. And eventually you come across some. They were kind of like Aztecs or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they called them in the game, but they had temples and stuff like that. And you finally start figuring out, oh, there is a way to maybe get us back and stuff like that. But just as far as gameplay, you had 4 characters. They all had actions. And then when you fought monsters, it would like, if I remember right, I think it was kind of like Final Fantasy style. You walk and then it would take you to a new screen, and then you like.
It was just like all the D&D games that were on the computer and stuff, right?
I wouldn't know that.
Little pixel guys, and you go into it, and it has all the monsters laid out, and you click a guy, and you're like, square, square, square.
Yeah, then it turns into a turn base.
But it's all top-down, kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
They're quasi top-down, pixelated thing.
Yeah, it's like top-down terrain, but then you're tilted.
And I'm going to guess that it's, like, extremely hard.
It wasn't too bad. If I remember right, I almost completed it, but then I got stuck because something wasn't making sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
So I got pretty far into the game, and I think I even started it over and tried to do it again and got stuck on the same spot. And I was like, okay, evidently this is pre-internet, so I couldn't just Google.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What my issue was and go to GameFAQs and
look up a YouTube video on how to complete it
and find out what was going on. So eventually I did just get frustrated with it and couldn't complete the game. But
I bought a whole Mac on the Macintosh, the LC2. I bought a whole package of D&D games, and it was all the same type of games.
Right.
Like I think Polar Radiance was in there, and some other ones I don't remember, but I mean they all played really, really, really similar. Those games are fun.
Fun part about it though was you did get to pick. I think I can't remember if you get to intermix the races and classes, but I do remember rolling on stats. So
yeah, rolling on stats. All those games end up being just click, 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 click,
yeah.
click, 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 click. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna gamble on another 18.
Yeah, that's
click, click,
it.
Click, click.
Yep, that's it.
So my number 3 is Streets of Rage 2.
Okay.
You ever played this?
I don't think so.
It's pretty much a side-scrolling beat-em-up game.
Okay, it sounds like it. In the streets?
In the streets.
In the streets? Okay.
It pretty much was Double Dragon.
Okay.
And there you go. I explained the whole game. I mean, it pretty much is, but the characters were bigger and they were cooler. It kind of reminded me more of like the Double Dragon 3, where they're like, there's a lot more articulation in the characters. They looked really cool. And this one specifically was really, really fun. I liked all the stages and stuff that it had. And not much more to talk about of that. I mean, it really is like a Double Dragon game. And that pretty much defines the whole thing.
Right.
But it was just really fun. And I have a lot of fun memory of playing it with my little brother back in the day. I still have my copy of it. It was awesome.
Sweet.
Number 2.
I went a long time thinking this game was called something else, but as I went through the list, I found it and said, oh, evidently it was called something else. I could have swore that Sega Genesis had Blood Bowl, but it wasn't. It was called Mutant League Football.
I remember this.
Yes. So
yeah,
it
pretty much was Blood Bowl.
It pretty much was Blood Bowl, but having the gap of years in between when I heard about Blood Bowl, I just associate it with this game because it pretty much was. You had different races of people. They had dirty plays that would injure and kill people. The refs, you would bribe the ref or do this and that, all this crazy stuff. It parodied a lot of like real football players. Like, I can't think of any, but I know that the names would correlate with like
they were funny names of those versions.
Yes. So
Gotcha.
I don't know, like if it was like Jerry's Not Nice, that would have been like Jerry Rice. That's not.
I gotcha.
That's not what it was.
Play on words.
Yeah, play on words exactly. So you could always pick out who they were talking about by, what it was. But yeah, man, me and my buddy would play that all the time and just try it. It literally, I think you did try and kill everybody.
That's awesome.
Was the point of the game. You tried to kill the other team. So
I'm a huge fan of Blood Bowl. The physical version takes way too long, but I still like it.
Right.
But man, I love games like that, especially like the newer Blood Bowls and stuff on, computer and stuff. Those are fun.
Right.
I really like the
Game Manager.
Oh, Team Manager.
Or Team Manager.
Yeah, Team Manager is in my top 10.
Yeah, so.
It's number 2.
Yep.
So, yeah. My number 2 Sega Genesis game is Castlevania Bloodlines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Castlevania. Not so much the 3D ones of the newer stuff, even though I do like them. I just really like the old Castlevanias. I like all the ones like even on the Game Boy, which one of them was really bad. And then I like the Castlevanias that came out on the DS. I think there's 3, maybe there's 4. Those were great. And because there's more RPG, there's more like Symphony of the Night.
Okay.
Right. But Castlevania Bloodlines was more traditional old school stuff, but it did allow you to switch between or pick 2 different characters, and they had to approach the stage differently. Like one guy, I think he had a spear or something. I'm pretty sure. And he had to like pogo stick his way up to higher areas to get around walls or whatever. And then the main character, which I can't remember the names for anything, but the main character had a whip, and pretty sure. Yeah, he had a whip. And then he would have to swing and get over gaps and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So point is, the 2 different characters, I haven't played in a long time, and I didn't look up any videos. I just know it was one of my favorite games.
Right.
It did get re-released on the PSP, PlayStation Portable, I think.
Right.
But it was awesome. I mean, Castlevania is just a fantastic series. And actually, I saw a prototype that maybe some fan made or something. I don't think it was a real game, like a company made it, but of a board game, Castlevania themed.
Interesting.
That is an IP that I'm interested in.
That was another game on the Nintendo front that I didn't even consider it. It might not have been in the top 5, but I didn't even consider it because I forgot about it.
Man, Castlevania 3 on the NES. Oh,
yeah.
Did you ever play that one?
Yeah.
Grant, little guy running around. But yeah, just Castlevanias in general, and I'm really excited because the guy who made Castlevania had a Kickstarter. Going back to a previous topic, it's called Blood Drenched or Blood Soaked. I can't remember now, but it's basically Castlevania, but he made a new game, same style of game and everything, but it's an homage to the Castlevania series.
Right.
So, 2. Did you already do your 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on 1.
We're on number 1. Let's beat on the table.
My number 1.
Yeah, this is great.
It's also a role-playing game. It's Shadowrun.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Shadowrun. I mean, it's role-playing.
Yeah.
You get people. You go get some Mr. Johnsons and get some jobs.
Yep.
Then you try to stay out of the Yakuza's hair.
Get some karma.
Yeah, get some karma. You got to go in the Matrix a little bit if depending
do some hacking.
Do some hacking. I mean, that's a good time. I play that game all the time.
Shadowrun it's on my Super Nintendo list of favorite games. I still have my copy of Shadowrun. Shadowrun is amazing.
Yes.
And now, if anybody's played the 360 version of Shadowrun, that's a first-person shooter, disregard that in its entirety because it's worthless.
Right. And
totally take Shadowrun the RPG. They did make some new RPGs. Shadowrun Returns, which I don't know if you knew that. And I don't know if it's on the iOS, but it's on Android.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right.
Same people. Yeah, they did that. They did Dragonfall or Daggerfall or something. I suck with names today. But, Shadowrun is just great. It's like a top-down game, like isometric view or whatever. Right. And then you moved around and you had your little pistol and you had to put your little target. Like when you draw your weapon, it puts a target over a guy and you're like, pow, 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 pow. And the little numbers and stuff. It was very like the RPG in the sense of you shoot somebody and dice. Not really dice are rolled because I don't think you ever missed, or maybe you did. No, I think you probably did. But man, that game was great. And then you can have all those cybernetics installed, so like you can have all that cool like abilities and effects and added strength and things. Oh man,
no, good
great
time.
Game.
Yeah,
great game. My number 1 is probably pretty obscure for a lot of people. It's called Blades of Vengeance.
Okay,
this was a pretty big arcade game. It was kind of like a Castlevania platformer, where you move around and fight and stuff.
Right.
Side scroll. It wasn't side scroll beat 'em up, but like more like a Mario kind of thing.
Okay. But
you can go in either direction. It was very RPG-ish. You could play it 2 players. I'm almost positive it's another one. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's one of those games you could save your character on the arcade.
Oh, really?
And come back and put a code in or whatever.
Oh, neat. All right.
Man, this game, fantastic. I mean, it is super fun, super good. I don't remember beating it ever, but I played it a lot. And it's if you like Dungeons and Dragons style beat 'em ups, this is one to check out. You know, because I mean, you basically go through like I think 5 or 6 stages or something, and there's a boss at each stage. But you explore the stage and then you get to the end and you kill the boss.
Okay.
But it wasn't like those games where you move from left to right like Mario, where you're gonna eventually get to the end. You still have to explore, and I'm pretty sure you had to find keys and open doors and things like that.
Okay.
You had magic and everything. There was like 3 characters you could pick. There was like an Amazon and a barbarian and a wizard, I think. And they had like different abilities and focuses, and I think you can have like little followers with you and stuff. But playing it 2-player, fantastic. It's one of those weird cartridge games though, because the cartridge didn't look. I think it was. I don't remember if it was like unlicensed or something, but the cartridge totally did not look like a Sega Genesis cart.
Really?
It was totally different. I don't know why. I like retro games, but I'm not into the semantics of it. Like, oh, this is a 5-screw NES game.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You know. So, but fantastic game. It's called Blades of Vengeance.
Sweet. Honorable mention too, as I was scrolling through this list, because I know we had talked about it, I didn't know Pit Fighter was on Sega Genesis.
People hate that game.
How did they hate it?
I loved it. The arcade was fantastic.
Exactly. The arcade was great.
Yeah. I think that's what made the game, like, I don't know if it was as good on the home consoles.
Maybe not.
But the arcade, because that was like, you walk into a bowling alley or something, and you see it was massive, and you had like 4 players.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh.
I mean, the crowd would hit you. You had to watch out for the crowd.
You can push each other into the crowd.
Yeah.
You get money or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was a great game. I don't remember if that was on Super Nintendo or not, but yeah, I saw that on the list when I was looking, and I was like, I remember liking the arcade, but when I played the actual game on the Genesis, I believe, I was kind of like underwhelmed. I think it was because like one of those arcade games, like the environment you played it on or in had a lot to do with it, and then when you play it on the home system, you're kind of like playing it by yourself, and you're like, this is all right. I'd rather play something else.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have an honorable mention, unless I want to say Phantasy Star, maybe.
Right.
But I didn't really play it that much. I just know I liked it. This is at a time that I'm more into the later Phantasy Star games, like the Phantasy Star Online games. But I did go back and play Phantasy Star, and like including Shining Force, which I would probably say that was a better, or YS. Yeah, Ease. I don't know. Lots of honorable mentions. Man, we can go. Top 5 just didn't do it.